you feel free, liberated, passionate, ready to step into that career or business that you love again. And it's been a minute. There may have been some things in there, but right now you are feeling perfectly clear on the direction you want to go to create and live into your impact. Can you feel that, right? Like, I just feel like even those words are so powerful, right? And so what I want to do today is talk to you about, if you're a woman that those things are really riding around in your heart and you know you've got something to do, then listen in. So I am Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational purpose coach and expert. And what I am so passionate about doing is helping empower women to get so clear on their purpose and how to create the impact that they want to leave. And so that's really kind of my big shtick that I bring to this lifetime, is how to support you in stepping into that space for yourself. And I tend to work with women who show up that are feeling unclear, and they feel stuck, and they feel afraid to change because there's so much responsibility that they carry. And even though they are uncomfortable, they're scared to change. They're scared to make what I call a lane change. And I can relate to all of that because that was me at 40. I was in a private practice that no longer brought me joy. And I had to make a really tough choice to move outside of that lane I had been serving my purpose in and change it up. And so I get really excited about it, which I know makes me kind of a total nerd, but I get really excited because when women begin to harness this again, every single thing about her soul lights up again. It's almost like it went dormant. And when you start really poking around into these areas of women in their lives and the spaces that they want to go, all of a sudden the light returns to their face. They have so much more excitement, enthusiasm, and power behind their words and what they're doing. And they become really focused and driven to step into that space, even though they felt like they were scared and they weren't sure they could do it. They can. They just forgot. And they develop this new sense of trust themselves, right? That they've forgotten how to trust and love themselves. And there was this self-betrayal associated with not listening to that call. And when they start to do it, even when they start the journey, things are so different. And I just get so excited about it. And it reminds me of back in the day as a clinical social worker, when I would see clients, right? I worked in the field for like 20 years. And when clients would really start to harness their awareness and begin shifting and making changes, they would come in and everything about them was lit up and different. And that's really the culmination of all of your work and effort, the seeds that you plant, is when you see someone stepping into that space. And so it's why I'm like already lit up talking about it. You can tell. So like, I love harnessing this with women. So I want you to wildly step into bravery, into the bravery that you can bring, where you just know there's something you need to be doing and you just need to start doing it. And so what I want to think about today, what I want to ask you to think about is, what's one brave thing that you could do that's moving you more in the direction of where you want to go? Let's just say you're actually feeling really pretty aligned with your purpose, okay? So I hope that's where you are if you're listening to me today. But if you're not, you know where to call me, right? You know how to find me. But if let's say you're doing pretty darn good, but you're still on a path and you're like, gosh, you know what? So either you get this opportunity to wildly step into something really outside the box, right? If you're kind of in a space and you're stuck, or maybe you're not so stuck, but you just know that something's riding around in your heart that you need to make a decision around. And there's something that you want to ask for or do, but you've been a little bit hesitant. We want to turn that all the way off today. We're like, nope, that toggle is we're going to turn it off. And we want you to really imagine, what's one brave thing that you can do? And bravery is just the act of trusting that it'll be okay on the other side, right? It really is. It's like hope and trust and faith. All those things have to be a part of our journeys, because when we get really shaken up to the core, we can sort of get disconnected from those really vital pieces of who we are. And so on our journey, we're gonna face challenges, right? And so sometimes it's our own thoughts, maybe where we are in a place financially, maybe it's that we have to wrap up a business to move on to something different, or I've got to have a sense of something that I want to land in if I'm here already. So you can see all the places where we might kind of want to utilize some bravery. And so I want you to imagine just one thing you can do that's so brave. Would you be willing to share it with me in the comments? I would love to hear what's one brave thing you're willing to step into. here's why I ask you a lot of the time to comment, right? It's not just, I mean, it's really fun to hear all of what you have to say. I love that. That honestly, that is like my joy. But the other thing is I'm teaching you to claim things. I'm teaching you to put your eye on the prize. I'm teaching you to say that this belongs to me. This act of bravery, whatever that is, that belongs to me. And I'm stepping into this thing because that's where I'm being called. And I really want you to practice. And I want you to practice being brave. I want you to practice trusting yourself. I want you to practice the wild within you, that willing, that inner lawlessness to kind of drive you or to have some dominant time in your world a little bit from time to time. And to stop listening to the shoulds and the expectations and all of the things, the fear that's running around with you. There's so much more to you than that. And so today, what's a brave action you can take? And it might look like beginning to look at developing a website for yourself. It might look like beginning to craft a startup, business loan so you can take something into the bank and start on a business loan. It might look like connecting to 2 other women that are doing something powerful that are in the field that you'd be interested in talking to them about, right? Asking for help is really brave, right? Maybe one of your brave acts is to say, I'm really miserable. It's brave to say it out loud. So maybe sometimes it's just proclaiming, like, I am unhappy where I am. Or I'm going to write that book. I just had a great network call with a woman, and she's always wanted to write a book. And I was telling her about how I did my Amazon Kindle book, and it's a short e-read. It's lovely, whatever, but it's not my big novel, right? I always joke it's not Lord of the Rings, but it was released, How to Start Letting Go of Expectation. It's a really powerful journey for all of us, and what are the things that I find really blocks people? So I was talking to her about this book journey, and she was like, I could totally do that. And she's like, I'm going to start now. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Like, so she proclaimed it to me. She didn't keep it to herself. She didn't listen to me and then get off the phone and like stew about it. She was like, I'm going to work on this. That's high five. Like, that's what I get really stoked about, is just getting excited about setting something for yourself and proclaiming it. And she just stepped right in. She leaned right into that shit. She didn't like have any hesitation. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to hear and see. So I want you to share in the comments for me. I want you to proclaim it. There's something about the universe listening that's so much bigger when you make it yours. What brave thing in this wild state of you leaving behind, right? You want to think about the kids. Think about when you used to be on the swing set and you would swing and then you would jump off, no hands, right? Or you would maybe be on the bars at the playground and you would do flips over the bar, right? You didn't have so much fear as a kid. And it kind of piles on as we age and as we're sort of educated in our culture, right, in a way that tells us what it's supposed to look like. It's like this training we don't even know is happening. We are wild, beautiful creatures on the inside, right? I don't mean scary wild. I mean beautiful, audacious, creative, like big blooming gardens is what I want you to imagine. That's what's in your soul. And so, but we can kind of tame it till it's this like, singular little path through like 10 flowers. That's not what you are meant to be. And so I want you to bravely step into that space for yourself. I want you to proclaim it. Tell me what's one brave thing, okay? All right, so if this was helpful to you and you want to be braver, then I want to invite you to step into taking a phone call with me. I love doing a Rise to Purpose phone call with people where we just sit and we chat about where you are and where you want to go, what's on your heart, and just start that journey of kind of weeding all of that out, right? Figuring out how that wild self can emerge just a little bit more. And so you can go right to my website, laughinglotuswellness.com, click on connect, or you can always direct message me and I'll send you my link and we'll get on a call. It's so easy. I just need to hear from you that you're interested in doing that. You're like, yep, I want to do a call. I want that Rise for Purpose call, and we will hop in and make that happen. So until next time, my loves, I hope you are living from that beautiful state of wildness riding around with you, that willing, that inner lawlessness to drive you for a time rather than always living in that should and expectation and that fear. I want you to cast all that aside and step fully into who you're meant to be. And I want you to live wild as you rise on your path to purpose.